This is Max Power, and I'm at London Underground, and we're getting to know our bartenders. With us today is Darian. Hey, Darian.
How's it going?
Good. What are you drinking today?
I'm drinking a Fernet and Coke, which is probably one of my favorite beverages other than whiskey. I talk a lot about Fernet if you hang around the bar when I'm working. It's a really fun Italian liqueur that I always say is kind of like a cross between a Hall's cough drop and your grandmother's bathroom. It's very medicinal. It's good for you. So why not?
Yeah. How long have you been a bartender here?
I started bartending here in July of 2016. So I guess we're coming up on 2.5 years today. Is that today? 2.5 years? Holy crap. Something like that. Goodness. So a little while I didn't have any bartending experience before that. Kyle kind of took a chance on bringing me in with nothing and was like, all right, he might regret it every once in a while, but yeah, I like it.
So you went from zero to the president of the local bartenders guild in a couple of
Yes. Right after I started bartending here, I had the option and opportunity to go to a bartenders guild event down in Des Moines. And it was an exploratory chapter event to see if we had enough people to really start a chapter. Are there enough folks in the area that want to make bartending their profession and elevate it? Bartending has been a respected career forever, kind of died off in the 60s, 70s, 80s. We call them the cocktail dark ages. So this very first event I went to was September of 2016. It was a Hennessy tasting. And I got to try Hennessy XO, Parody, and Parody Imperial, which is like $200 a bottle and like $800 a bottle and then like $2,500 a bottle. So I was this baby bartender like, oh, there's a lot of people here who know a lot more than I know. And it was really, really cool. So I worked with a couple of folks in the Des Moines area, and by March we had a formatory committee, and by August of 2017 we had formed a chapter, and I'm the first president of it.
Cool. So what kind of opportunities has that given you?
It's been really amazing. Through the Bartenders Guild, we have various partners across the country, different brands. Kyle and I got to go to Hacienda Patron in Mexico. We were given the opportunity to take a tequila certification course online, and then pending successful completion of that, and all expenses paid trip to Mexico. I also got to go to Kentucky to visit the Wild Turkey Distillery and hang out with the Russells. They are still probably one of my favorite families to this very day. You don't really when you pull whiskey out of a barrel with someone, with a whiskey thief, you're family after that point. I've been to regional conferences where I got to network with bartenders and leaders in the industry from across the Midwest. There's been so much. And there's always, that in every community you go to, there's always a friendly face. It's folks just like our bar family here. And that's been probably my greatest takeaway from it.
Nice. And you have been to London too, is that right?
Yes. Mike, my fiance, Mike Hoverson DeMarco, as most people know him, decided that I sent him this big Facebook list of 100 whiskey festivals in the world you should go to. This is cute, isn't it, babe? And he sends back, so I'm booking us tickets to the London one. Okay, well, sure, let's go to London then. Why not? I work at London Underground. That sounds awesome. So in September of 2018, we got to go to London and go to the 10th anniversary of their whiskey festival there. There were over 600 open bottles of whiskey. Yeah. I did my darndest to get through most of them just so I could tell you all about them. It was really fun. I think one of my highlights, one of my favorite whiskey brands, I'm a big whiskey fan. One of my favorite whiskey brands is Glenmorangie. Glenmorangie owns Ardbeg, so my two of my top whiskey brands are represented by the same distillery, basically, the same distillery team. So while we were over there, I let some of my folks here in the U.S. know, hey, we're going, tell them hi, what are the perks? And we get there, and we kind of hung around for a little while, got to try this really cool whiskey called Glenmorangie Pride. They only made 520 bottles. It sells for 10,000 pounds a bottle. And I got to try both the 1971 and the 1974, which was super cool. They tend to fly folks from all over the world to bars in the U.S. that still have stock of those bottles so that their team can actually try them. So I got to try that, and then hanging out, sipping on my fancy whiskey, having the greatest time ever, and over walks the head of aging and maturation, Brendan McCarran. who was like, "You're Darian, I heard about you because so-and-so told me that you were coming." And it was so cool. He's like, "We have to take a selfie and send it back to the US team."
Oh, wow.
Which was probably one of my absolute favorite moments. It was this whiskey family and this, I see alcohol as community building. It obviously has greater ramifications and darker ones as well, but we build community with it. So through various connections and working in this bar and loving whiskey and being taught to love whiskey, I had friends in London before I ever got there.
That's amazing.
It was super cool.
What does this London have in common with like a British pub that you saw over there?
So we went to a couple in Oxford and a couple in London, and we, every once in a while I have folks who come in and we get guests from all over in here, and they're like, "Oh, this is really like a pub. It feels like a pub." And I'm like, "Oh, that's cute." But that's actually the best way I could describe it. You walked into a pub over there and there's no TVs. They might have Wi-Fi if you're lucky. You're going to stoop down or step into, we went to the Flying Unicorn in Oxford, and you try very hard not to hit your head going in, and it's dark and it's woody and it's inviting. And I feel like we do a really good job of that here. The way we're not only set up, but the way we act as staff and the way we build family, and our guests aren't just guests. They're not just people who give us money or buy alcohol from us. They're, "Oh, hey, it's the cheers thing." And it was very much apparent over there also. It was, "We've got beer. Yep. We've got whiskey. This is what we do. This is who we are."
That's great. How can people be better bar patrons, do you think?
I'll choose my words on this one. For me, it's not only about how you act when you go in a bar in terms of how do you treat your bartender. Don't be an ass. Don't snap your fingers at me. I'm not a dog. That's one thing that is like a personal pet peeve. But to be my favorite thing about bartending is teaching somebody something new. Be adventurous, or at least be willing to explore a little bit. Push your boundaries. Like most people, I hand them Fernet or a Ferrari shot, and they're like, "All right, crazy lady," and they love it. Some of them really hate it. I'm sorry if I've given you a Ferrari and you absolutely hated it. I probably paid for it then. But it's being open to something new where you can start a conversation where, "What sort of beer are you feeling today?" "Well, how about an IPA?" And rather than just saying that you want this specific one, "I want a hoppy IPA and maybe a little fruity." And you don't even have to know that much. "I want a Bud Light," or, "I always drink Bud Light. What else could I try?" I think that for me is my favorite sort of person who comes into this bar. When they see what we have to offer and want to take advantage of it. We are who we are. We have an amazing cocktail menu. We've got over 70 bottles of whiskey. Tons and tons of beer, lots of tequila, and take advantage of that when you're in a bar. When you're in someplace new, if they have something you've never tried before and you're in the mood to try something, you're not going to the bar necessarily for the comfort or regularity that drinks can provide, because that's valuable also. But if you're open to new things, that I think makes it more of an experience too.
That's a great tip. What are you looking forward to in 2019 that London's putting on, or do you know?
Maybe I shouldn't share all of that. Getting married in 2019, so I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
We are closing the bar down for a private party and throwing it here for our reception, so I'm really excited about that, and it's been fun planning that with my bar family. I am applying left and right for various opportunities. There's so many industry events, conferences. Folks look at bartenders and often just, "Oh yeah, you serve my drinks. What are you going to do when you grow up?" But there's so much more to this industry. It is the hospitality industry as a whole, and the ability to create those experiences. So I've already this year applied for 5 or 6 upcoming conferences and working to see how else can I get out into the greater community and learn things that I can bring back to Ames and bring back to our home. And also it's cool when, like last year I went to Chicago Style, which was one of the very first conferences in our industry on sustainability and intersectionality and diversity and how do we bring these bigger conversations into our bar world. And it was amazing. And the coolest part about it was seeing all the things that London is already doing. We already have gender neutral bathrooms. We already make a point to say everybody is welcome here unless you're an asshole. Don't be an ass. Don't be a dick. Just
Life hack.
yeah, right? Like the number one tip, treat people like people.
Yep.
But we make community our focus. We already reach out to our regulars, and it's friendships and bonds and families that are built here. And that is one of the greatest things that the bar industry is trying to call back to. Like, it's cool if you can make a fancy cocktail. But if you alienate your customer by doing so, your cocktail doesn't matter. It's not going to taste as good.
What's your most overrated drink, do you feel like, right now?
So, I don't like weighing in on things like that because it edges into territory of judging people for what they drink.
Oh, okay.
So, I have a fair number of folks all across this industry in different types of bars, and I don't want to serve Bud Light. Why are you drinking Bud Light? That's cool if that's not what you drink, but don't alienate someone else for what they drink. So I see, we get these big lists of Long Island iced tea and adios motherfucker and all these things that, you're terrible if you order, your bartender is going to hate you. In my opinion, that's a very immature bartender to judge someone for what they're drinking. I was making a Long Island iced tea not too long ago and was like, I've never had one. Maybe I should try this drink that I'm serving someone, and I liked it. Maybe that makes me basic. I don't really care. It's the point of coming to the bar to enjoy things. And so to me, weighing in on what's overrated or underrated is, in a way, passing judgment on that. And I don't like to do that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Great.
There's so much of that goes around where it's especially I don't want to crack a Bud Light or PBR or whatever, or you're getting a rum and Coke or a Captain and Coke, and oh my God, you're still drinking Captain. And Captain is one of the number one selling rums in the category. There's just, we need to quit judging people for what they drink. And it doesn't matter if there's my other tip to bar patrons. Drinks don't have genders. Don't tell me you want a girly drink. I drink whiskey, straight. And I'm a girl. Doesn't really matter who you are, I don't care what parts you have. If you want a fruity drink, if you want a strong drink, you want a tart drink, you give me adjectives that help me make you a drink. Don't tell me if it has a dick or not. That's
a good ender, I think.
Yep.
Fist pound to that.
Hell yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.